The plane took off at 9:15 in the evening. Flight 407 was going from Chicago to London. It was a big white aircraft carrying 218 passengers. Most of them had already pulled their blankets over themselves. The cabin lights were low. The engines made a soft, steady sound. Everything felt normal. Everything felt safe. In row 17, seat B, a girl was sitting alone. Her name was Zara Ahmed. She was 19 years old. She had short dark hair and wore a plain gray hoodie. She had a small backpack under the seat in front of her. She looked like any ordinary college student going on a trip. She was reading a book and drinking orange juice. Nobody paid attention to her. Nobody had any reason to. Zara was flying to London to visit her father, who she had not seen in 2 years. She had saved money for 6 months to buy this ticket. She had been looking forward to this night for a very long time. At 11:42 p.m., 2 hours and 27 minutes into the flight, everything changed. The engines went quiet. Not completely quiet. There was still sound. But anyone who had ever flown before could feel it. The deep, powerful hum that fills a plane. And makes your chest vibrate slightly. It dropped. It changed. The aircraft shook once. A short sharp shake. And then it tilted very slightly to the right. Most passengers did not notice. A few looked up from their phones. One man near the back grabbed his armrest. Zara noticed immediately. She put her book down. She sat up straight. She looked at the ceiling. The way a person does. When they are listening very carefully. To something they cannot see. Then she looked at the wing. Through the small oval window beside her. The engine on the right side was producing less thrust than normal. She could see it. She could feel it. She had been flying since she was 9 years old. Not as a passenger. As a pilot. Zara's mother was a flight instructor. At a small airfield outside Karachi, Pakistan. Zara had grown up in that airfield. She had spent her childhood in cockpits. She had her first solo flight at 14. Which made her the youngest solo pilot her instructor had ever trained. By the time she turned 17, she had over 400 hours of flight time logged. In small propeller aircraft. She had passed every examination her country's Civil Aviation Authority offered. For her age group. She was not a commercial airline pilot. She had never flown a jet. But she understood aircraft. The way most people understand breathing. Automatically, instinctively. Without having to think about it. Right now, at 30,000 feet. Over the Atlantic Ocean. That understanding was telling her. Something was very wrong. The aircraft tilted again. Slightly more this time. Then the PA system clicked on. The voice of the senior flight attendant came through the speakers. Her name was Janet. She had been working on planes for 22 years. Her voice was calm and professional. But Zara heard something underneath it. A tightness. A small crack in the smoothness. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your cabin crew. We are experiencing a minor technical situation. Please return to your seats. And fasten your seat belts. Everything is under control. Everything was not under control. Zara pressed the call button above her seat. Janet came to her within 30 seconds. She walked quickly. Which flight attendants are trained not to do. In front of passengers. Because it causes panic. Zara leaned forward and spoke quietly. I am a trained pilot. I have 400 hours of flying experience. I know this aircraft is in trouble. I am not trying to make a scene. I am asking you. Do you need help in the cockpit? Janet looked at her. A 19-year-old girl in a gray hoodie. Asking to help fly a commercial jet. Over the Atlantic. For 3 seconds. Janet said nothing. Then she said, "Come with me." What had happened in the cockpit was this. Captain Robert Ellis, 51 years old, 28 years of flying experience, had become severely ill. 40 minutes earlier. He had not told the first officer. He thought it was food poisoning. He thought it would pass. It did not pass. At 11:38 p.m. he had lost consciousness in his seat. First Officer Daniel Park was 29 years old. He had 2,100 hours of flight time. He was a good pilot. But he was now alone in the cockpit of a 218-passenger aircraft. Over the ocean. In the middle of the night. The right engine had developed a fault. The autopilot had disconnected. Because of the engine warning. Daniel was hand-flying the aircraft while trying to read through the emergency procedure manual with one eye and talk to air traffic control with the other. He was managing, but only just. When Janet opened the cockpit door and Zara stepped inside, Daniel looked back at her. "You're a pilot?" "Yes," Zara said. "Commercial?" "No. General aviation. 400 hours." He stared at her. The aircraft shook again. An alarm sounded. A soft double chime. And Daniel turned back to the instruments. His hands moved fast. He made 3 adjustments. In quick succession. The aircraft steadied. "Sit down," he said. He pointed to the captain's seat on the left. "Don't touch anything. Just sit there. And tell me what you see." Zara sat down. She put the headset on. She looked at the instrument panel. She had never seen a panel this complex. There were more screens. More switches. More warning lights. Than anything she had ever trained on. But the basic instruments. The attitude indicator showing the horizon. The altimeter showing height. The airspeed indicator. The engine gauges. Those she knew. Those were the same. In every aircraft she had ever flown. "Your right engine is at 62% thrust," she said. "You are compensating with left rudder. You are burning more fuel on the left side. Because of the compensation. Your fuel balance is going to become a problem. In approximately 1 hour." Daniel looked at the fuel screen. He had not calculated that yet. He had been too busy with the engine fault procedure. "You're right," he said. He reached for the radio. "Oceanic Control, this is Flight 407. Declaring emergency. Engine partial failure. Requesting diversion. To Shannon Airport, Ireland." The response came back quickly. Shannon Airport was told. Emergency crews were called. A new flight path was given. But then the right engine warning changed. The amber light turned red. "Engine 2 is failing," Zara said. Her voice did not shake. She said it the way she would read a number from a page. "I know," Daniel said. He was already running. The engine shutdown checklist. If I shut it down. We fly on one engine. The rest of the way to Shannon. That's 400 kilometers. How long? 52 minutes. Zara looked at the fuel screen again. She did the numbers in her head. It's enough, she said. But only if you reduce airspeed to the most efficient single-engine cruise speed for this aircraft type. Daniel looked at her sideways. You know the single-engine cruise speed for an Airbus A320? No, she said honestly. I know the principle. What does your flight management computer recommend? He entered the command. The computer displayed the number. Daniel set the new speed. Then he shut down engine 2. The right side of the aircraft went completely quiet. The plane shook once. And then settled. Flying on one engine. Over the ocean. In the middle of the night. 218 people breathing in the dark. Behind them. For the next 44 minutes. Zara did not fly the aircraft. Daniel flew it. But she watched every instrument. She called out altitude. When it drifted. She read fuel numbers. When a second warning light came on. A hydraulic pressure warning. She found the right section of the system's diagram on the screen. And read Daniel the procedure out loud. So he did not have to look away from the horizon. She was his second set of eyes. His second brain. Calm, focused. Reading everything. At 1:09 in the morning. The lights of Shannon came into view. Through the cockpit window. The runway was lit up completely. Emergency vehicles were already lined up. On both sides. Their red and blue lights. Turning slowly in the dark. Zara counted them. 12 vehicles. Daniel flew the approach carefully. He did not rush. He talked through each step out loud. And Zara confirmed each instrument reading. As he called for it. Flaps 1. Flaps 1 confirmed. Gear down. 3 greens, gear down confirmed. Localizer captured. Confirmed, you are on centerline. The aircraft descended through the dark Irish sky. 500 feet. 300 feet. 100 feet. 50 feet. The wheels touched the runway. Firm, solid, controlled. The thrust reversers opened. The brakes bit. The aircraft slowed and stopped. For a moment. There was complete silence in the cockpit. Then Daniel Park put both hands on his knees. And let out a long, slow breath. That seemed to come from somewhere very deep inside him. Good. He said. That was all. Captain Ellis was taken off the aircraft. On a stretcher. He had suffered a severe drop in blood pressure. Caused by a bacterial infection. He would spend 4 days in a hospital in Limerick. And would make a full recovery. The right engine fault was traced to a cracked fuel flow valve. Engineers would later say that if the engine had not been shut down when it was, it would have failed completely. Within 18 minutes, the 218 passengers were taken to a hotel near the airport. Most of them did not know exactly what had happened until they read about it on their phones. The next morning, one of those passengers found a photograph that a cabin crew member had taken A photograph of the cockpit during the flight. In it, sitting in the captain's seat, in a gray hoodie, was a 19-year-old girl. Her eyes were on the instruments. Her face was completely still. The photograph was shared 4 million times. In 48 hours. Reporters came. Cameras came. Everyone wanted to know the story of the girl in row 17. Zara gave one short interview, standing outside the Shannon terminal, with her small backpack over one shoulder. A reporter asked her if she was afraid. She thought about it for a moment. I was afraid when I did not know what was happening, she said. Once I knew what was happening, I was just working. The reporter asked what she wanted people to take from her story. Zara looked at the camera simply, without any performance. Learn things, she said. Learn real things. Not because you know when you will need them. You never know when you will need them. Just learn them. And when the moment comes, you will be ready. She picked up her bag, called her father to tell him she was going to be a little late, and went inside to find herself a cup of tea.